Hi, my name is Chala Prabhu. Today my presentation is on understanding Quickparts, document property, building blocks, view side by side, and include text. So include text field has already been covered in part 1. So we'll be having a demo on other functionality like document property, building blocks, and view by side. And also we'll see how to store information in Quickparts. So before I start this, a word of gratitude to Srini Coppolo. If you look at the last line, you know that he has developed the technology and has 20 global patents. And he is a man behind OLE, COM, Windows, Office 95 and 97. So those are the software, those are iterations which actually give real technology to Microsoft Office. We are talking about a copy paste and copy paste special, and these are the terms which are used. They are called as object linking and embedding. Today's presentation is on quick parts. See, most of the technical writers or other people who are working on the documentation always think that Markup has got snippets or Oxygen XML has reusable components, and Microsoft has got only quick parts. So it is always necessary for you to go deep into understanding of this product as to know whether your knowledge actually maps to the knowledge in the Microsoft documentation tools or any tool that you want to use for your daily routine task. I would like to, Srini Coppola has given Windows 95 and Office Windows 95 and Office 97. The significance of Windows 95 and Office 97 has been like that was the time when Windows Explorer also made its presence, and you also might have heard about Netscape Navigator those days. So there was a very tough competition between these two browser companies. So today's generation is talking about application programming interface. I think I would like to tell them that API had come long back when Internet Explorer was there. REST API was also there. Their query string parameters were also there. Endpoints were there. So most of the things already prevailed during that time. So because of the internet proliferation, people think that a simple object access protocol, the representation state transfer API, and also the WSDL and many other things started evolving only after internet. So the concept is not correct. We also spoke about a channel definition file. We also spoke the server push technology and the client pull technology. So most of the people used to watch a cricket match by getting only some portion of the content from the cricket.org into their Excel sheets and start monitoring the cricket score during that time. But today it has become Power Query, so that's a different story altogether. So my question here is, whenever you work on any Microsoft product, go deep into inside, because their products come from a leading vendor company. So we have no right to say that we love this company or that company. None of the company should have affinity towards creating any document. We have to only know what are the features and functionality that exist in one application that is not there in the other application, and why they have not been implemented, because Microsoft Office is being used by everyone, even outside the company. It's not creating documents. It's also for people who are earning their living outside of the company. Okay, because word processor has replaced the typewriting machine. So because common people have to make their living outside the company also. So it is only when a company has got more number of products and the content has to be reused across all those documentation deliverables, maybe the question of reusability has taken place. Otherwise, it is not of high priority to anyone who is outside the organization. My question here is, people are talking about snippets. People mostly, depending on the organization they work, they have the privilege to work on certain software which other company may not have. For example, the Madcap Flare. People who have already switched over to Madcap Flare to deliver some e-learning solutions or some other deliverables in the documentation team. Similarly, Oxygen XML may be as a software as a service model, where you pay as you use, or you probably will pay based on the number of users license as a subscription model. And since Microsoft Office is already available in each desktop that you are buying, it is necessary to know that you have to update, patch up, and also get licenses for it, which is not possibly required when you are in the cloud. You only pay the subscription, but you always get the latest version of the software whenever you have access in the cloud. Okay, so cloud is not new. Cloud is not new for those who have been talking about cloud and think that the terminology of cloud had been there long time back. We'll talk about multi-tenancy architecture also. But as long as I'm working on this, as long as I'm having the slide before me, I would only talk about on-premises software where your information is stored on your desktop. Be it a database which is on the desktop. The only thing what is required from us to understand is, since SQL is an open standard across all the databases, you could learn SQL on your desktop using Microsoft Access even before you go and scale your skills to an enterprise level solution like MS SQL or anything, because the normalization is the same, the SQL language is the same, then also the joins, the relationship, all these are same. So it is only what you need to understand is a join or cardinality. So the next second thing I would like to say here, looking at this, is we have come a long way, right? So in that case, we have to say Microsoft Access has given this desktop level application on to make you understand the SQL language. It is up to you to migrate or upgrade your skill to store procedures, because the logic works only on the desktop level. You also had a domain system name, so you know how to map your server name to a variable and then use that variable for a connection string to get connected to the database. True. So all these have been given way back. So you could want to learn your domain knowledge. You are already there because you have this application running on your desktop. You also switch over from a pull-down menu to a ribbon. Okay, but the people gradually migrated to the particular level of interface they had. So there's nothing to worry about it. Only thing, when you go and talk to the management and tell them you're already familiar with it, show them a demo on your desktop telling that these are the features that I'm talking, and now I'm relating to that particular knowledge of which you are trying to refer to. Okay, now even internet service, there were also called application service providers. Now we are talking about as a subscription-based model. We are talking about multi-tenancy, where a single instance of an application serves multiple clients. That's what I said. It's not new, because you may not be using Hotmail, you may be using Gmail, but for me Hotmail is enough, because it's a single instance of an application which is on the server, and when more and more people get connected to it, okay, an instance of that particular application is given to that particular person who logged in with a minimum number of storage space. So this is already there, right? So in that case, Gmail should be looked after as a multi-tenancy architecture, which will looked as a single instance of an application serving multiple clients. That's it. We never want to say which is superior, which is inferior, which company is fighting between them. The technology, it is way back. So if you talk about multi-tenancy, to me, I can say it is available 20 years back. For you, if you are now in the Internet Explorer, if you are now in the Internet environment, for me, Gmail is something new for you. For me, it is not that way. Okay. So thank you. So before I move, I would like to thank Sini Kopolo, because I have been in touch with him earlier, and also I created. I really loved that application even today, because it's giving you not only it gives you 4 applications where any company can work on and deliver their solutions and maintain the database also. Okay, now today I'm going to talk about Quickparts, a document property, building block. What is all this, and why you people are not using it? So you already had a reusable component. People say that, okay, the style sheet itself is a reusable component. If I have created one document for example, for a company, or if I have used some style sheet and all that, I need not have to recreate that style sheet again. I can just go back and import that particular style sheet and create a new document from there without recreating all those style sheets. Style sheets are nothing but cascading style sheets, CSS. Why do they call style sheets? Because if you define once and apply to a particular content, and later on you modify that content, then that updated information on that particular style will cascade to all the places where you applied that style. Okay, for example, if I have H1 and you made it as a Roman 10, and later on you feel it is going to be Roman 14, so wherever you applied Roman 10 earlier, and now it will be updated to Roman 14. Now I'm going to talk about Quickparts. Now this Quickparts is, in order to tell you what is Quickparts, I'm going to open the Microsoft Word document. Okay, now I've got this content here. I'm placing this content here. Now I want this content to be reused every time. So it is up to you how you want to reuse it. There may be 80% relevance to what you have knowledge about other reusable components, other different applications, but a single vendor product in the world leading vendor will definitely one day catch up to that particular requirement. Now here what I did is I go to insert, and here I got a quick part. When I say quick part, I just click on this quick part. Okay, so I have selected the content, went to auto text. So I say save the selection to auto text gallery. But when I save this, now I'm going to give some name for this. I'll say like, okay, this is a presentation 1, P1. Okay. Now it's an auto text. Like when you go and sell it, I want to store this as an auto text. So whenever I want to click on that, I want to give reusability, like a snippet. But only thing, the disadvantage that you actually have is you cannot go and modify it and update that particular content in the auto text gallery. Okay, now I'll do this, and categories could be, now I can say, okay, now if I come to this and look at it, you have P1, right? So now if I come and say I got this, I come here and say I want to enter it again, come here, you get started. So this is what a snippet is. What normally you have snippet is, you have the content folder, keep drag and dropping, and then they come inside. Okay, but you can't just update this because that's not required mostly by all the people who are using the application, apart from the documentation team. Okay, so now we have created the Quickparts. That's very simple and straightforward. Now comes the documentation. Documentation comes the understanding document property. Now let me go to the Microsoft Word again. Now here if I come to insert, come to this particular say document property. What is a document property is we have a list of fields associated to the document property which you can reuse. Okay. Now, I'll also tell you this particular fields which are relevant to this document property. Also create some custom property so that you can associate it with the document property. So let me first do this. Okay, let me before doing this, make clear that you have this developer menu on the top. So you know how to add it. You have to go to the file option and you have to add that particular developer tool here. I'll tell you why. Now going by this, I'll just first go and bring that. I'll bring any one of these fields into the document. I'll say abstract. Okay, let me make this big. Abstract. Now I'll say this is a presentation. This is a presentation on Microsoft Word. Okay. Now what is the relevance here? So what great about it? Nothing up till now, right? So, but here there's something called abstract, which refers to the field. With reference to the field. Now I just want to change this abstract and keep it something very personal to me. So I have to go to developer tag here. I'll go to developer and say it's a property. Now here I come and say, hey, I just want to be a Challa Prabhu here. You could give anything. I'm making Challa Prabhu because you'll be eager to know what happened to that name and what is happening with that name. If I just give some other name, you may not be bothered something happened. But you'll be very inquisitive to know about that particular title. Okay, so here also I give Challa Prabhu. Okay, now I say fine. Now you see Challa Prabhu on the top. So what? Now what next? Now I want to just use this component anywhere I want. Okay, for example, I am not adding any content. So I say that, okay, assume that you have used this content several times in your document. Okay, then I am showing this to my boss, and my boss says, yeah, fine, it's good. But then he says, no, this is not a presentation. It's a demo. He said, it's a demonstration on this. It is a demonstration on my Word. Demonstration on Microsoft Word. Fine. Now when I come out and say, when I come out and say, you must have seen that all the things have changed below. Okay, all has become demonstration, which was a presentation earlier. So you can have multiple. You can have multiple document property, and you can choose a field. And then later on you can also add that field into this particular problem. Okay, you may have some queries, I do understand, but now the scope is very limited to only the presentation now. Beyond which you can explore. Okay, so my question here is reusability. If I use this particular Challa Prabhu as a field in the document property across the several places in the single document which I am creating, I can just go and change that particular thing. For example, like what you said, if the copyright is going to be 1992, 1993, and later on the copyright need to be changed to 2022 to 2024, you change in one place and refers to everything. That's what is snippet, right? That's what is reusable component. That's what is conditional formatting. Okay, so and that's what is variables also. Now this is fine. Now you understood what I'm talking about, the document property. But now the question is, I want to say I needed to add something new here in this property, which you cannot do that. But still it is possible. What you have to do is, you have to go to file, you have to go to info. When you go to info, if you see the properties here, you go and see all the properties here. So all these properties are similar to all those fields in the document property. But here I want to add some new field to the document property. So I come here and select on this field, click on this. Okay, now I want to create a custom one. So I come here and say I want to add a department name, but then the department value of that particular department. What do you want it? My value of you want to be sales. Okay, now I've got department. The value is sales. I can probably say the value as a purchase also, right? Anything just you want to add in your document. So here I say add. Fine. Now what happened now? Department is this. I've got this. Or I can probably say I will also add purchase. Purchase under department, I can say purchase also. Okay. Modify. So modified one is purchase. I say okay. Now I have a department by name purchase. Now I want to include that in my document. So how will I do this? Now I have to go to the field. Now I have to go to document property. That is field. Now I click on the field. Okay. I hope you are able to see this. Then I come here, say document information, document property, and here you have got a department. You got purchase now. So this is a field which I defined just now, but it will not be displayed in the document property here, but it's available for me here. How I know it is a field? Not just because it's highlighted. If I right click it, you will see that update field, edit field, or toggle field. So the toggle field is going to say document property and department slash. So that is getting merged in this document property. So I'll come back here. Either I can use F9 or I can just right click and say toggle sheet. Remember one thing before I say, see nowadays, be it a Dell or any other computer company, say keyboard, are by default they have a functionality of the application specific hotkeys on the function keys. Okay, which means if I press F9, it will be like updating the field or updating the content from a different location. It will not happen because if I install some other application specific to that particular keyboard layout, that F9 which refers to that particular application will be updated. So my F9 key in Microsoft Word document will not work. So in order to do that, I have to press a function key and escape to disable it and use Microsoft Word function. Then I press function key and escape key and use the application specific functionality. So what do I mean by this? Now I'm using a demo software here. I'm using a demo software called Demo Creator Recorder. Now F9 we will be supporting only this particular application called Demo Creator. If I want to use Microsoft specific field F9 to update all the field information, then I have to press function key and escape together and use Microsoft specific function. Okay, so now you got it. So this is called a right. Now what next? Now that should be something new, right? Now comes to document property. Now we are coming under understanding building blocks. Understanding building blocks, or where will you use this building blocks? Okay, let me tell you one thing. Now I'm working on a document for a company like Dell. So I've created a lot of effort I put in creating that document. but suddenly I'm getting one more project from Microsoft or from Google and would like to create the same effort I'm going to put in order to do the same job which I've already done previously on a different company's project. So I can have certain important things that would like to be stored to be reused later on. So I could just put them in the property. For example, if I have a footer, okay. For example, I'll tell you. I'll open one document here. This is this one I'm currently working on. Okay. So this is there's something called a footer here, right? Now I'll go. Now I'll say insert. Go to document property. Here, then go to building block another. Okay. So since I've highlighted this, it knows that I'm going to store this as a document property. If I come down, and then click on this particular building block, you won't say save selection to quick memory. Okay. Save selection to quick. So what would happen is there's nothing to be stored in the building block. But now, since I want this to be stored, I'm just going to coming to this particular insert menu, going to building blocks. Now it says a save section to a Quickpart gallery. I said okay, fine. Now when I come here, this says this is a user guide. So I'll just say okay, this is called as a demo Prabhu, and it's going to be Quickpart gallery. I said it's not Quickpart gallery. I want it. It's a footer. Okay, I've got in the footer. I want this. Then it's a category is built in, so I can say category anything. But this is very important where you want to actually store. You want to store it as a auto text. Earlier, in the very first time in the beginning when I showed the demo, I stored it at auto text. Then you got cover pages, equation, footers. Now since this is footer, I want to use it as a footer. Okay. Now say okay, demo Prabhu. Remember that demo Prabhu. Okay. Fine. Now I'm opening a new document, right? New document. Now I go to insert and come back to this. Go to field. Let me check where it is. Okay. Now I know it is footer. Like in the name I put demo, but I can also click here and say demo. I can click here and say demo, or I can go to click gallery and say it's a footer, or I can say which category. It's a built-in category. Now name is okay. Name is demo, but I have to scroll here. Okay. But there in the gallery there are many things. So if I click on gallery and see only footer, I should see demo Prabhu here, right? Which is not becoming says here. Okay, demo Prabhu. Now what will happen if I click, if I say insert? If I say insert, see the footer is entered for me here. That's a document 1. Okay, so no text specific style because that's a different issue because I'm already developed some field information for the document title, and based on the chapter title and the section title, I'm trying to add it to the footer here so that it can automatically get updated. This is so that's the way you have to say. So you have to create a document property. You can also create a building block, so you can start using that building block. So if I could actually do this, I can reuse this particular content in the other document. Okay. So similarly, you also have a clipboard. Like earlier you had a clipboard where you can also start reusing whatever content you want. So let me show how. So I'll go and copy this. Okay, then I'll copy this. Now I'll copy this. Now my question here is I want to reuse a demo maybe somewhere in the 20th page. So I have clipboard here, right? So clipboard has got base power demo. So which one you want? If you click that, it will come power again. Or if you come here and say I want to have this This present here Microsoft Word. So these are abstract. This is called. Says there. So you can reuse from the clipboard. You can reuse uh, from the quick parts like the auto text. You can also use it from the document property. You can also use a field. You can also use a building block. And above all, you can also use a style sheet, right? Because you have a style sheet here. So you got something called options here. Okay, let us click and see what is that option says. It says style sheet so. But there's also something here called a new style inspector, and you got a manage styles. That is very important. That manage styles is going to bring you some style sheets that you have defined earlier in some other document. You can bring that style sheets, complete style sheets into this particular document, overruling the existing style sheets. For example, if I have heading 1, heading 2, heading 3 already defined in this present document as a default style sheet, if I bring that particular style sheet from externally, it could probably overwrite it, or it could maybe adding a different style sheet like a different name which is defined in this particular element. Let me see what happens, because I said you can do this. So when you say manage property, okay, okay, now in this you still don't get it, you still don't get that document which you have done in the previous document. So when you come to manage style, come to import and export, this is what is very important. This is maybe the left will be the document that you have earlier created, and all the style sheet referring to that particular document. You will move all that particular style sheet which you want to the current document, and you say close, so that style sheets will be listed in the style menu in the right hand side. So you have n number of reusable component here. One is the clipboard, second is the style sheet, third is uh, quick parts. You got auto text, you got document property, you got field, you can building blocks, many other things. So reusability is the key. Then you have to use your document accordingly. Please do not use a document just for the sake of creating document. That means it is like a typewriter, right? That means whether it's Microsoft Word 1.0 or Microsoft Word 365 does not make any difference. You have to build knowledge, skill, and talent. That's very important to sell yourself. Okay, this is a document which is in the progress of creating, so I don't want to show it's basically on a NDA agreement. Okay, now here coming here. Now this is done. So we also had building blocks, we created a document property, we created quick parts, and we also created include text. Now the last one is a view side by side. So before I talk about that, it that sometimes it so happens that you want to compare two documents side by side in Microsoft Word. It may work in the current version of Microsoft Office, but in the earlier what happens is this you have to remember. Never don't say that it's not working in your system. It will work, but only thing is if you open two Microsoft Word documents from the Windows Explorer, okay, you will not be able to see side by side. You have to open Word and then go and select the two documents. Only then you will be able to see the documents side by side. Now let me show you this. Okay, so this is Word, right? Now we have to come and open the two documents from here. But if for example, if you have we don't know what version of Microsoft Office do you really have. If you go to Explorer and start selecting from here Microsoft document, you won't be able to see side by side. Okay, for example, if I come here and open this document like include destination here, okay, then come to view here, I won't be able to see view side by side here. Because there's only one document, so there's no, but in case you select it from the file explorer to a document, it may not see, but if you open from within the my Word, it might probably see. So that thing you take care of, because now it could change, the functionality may change based on the version that you're having. Now second, I'm going to open one more document called some text document. What is this text document? index out. Okay, now if you see, I've got side by side here. When you click on this, I've got some. So here what happens is, if I scroll, both the documents scroll. Both the documents scroll together. Why it scrolls? Because if you come here and see view and come to Windows, you have got this synchronized scrolling activated here. That's a view by. So sometimes that may be necessary for you to scroll both the documents for whatever purpose it may be. Or you only want one document to scroll, so you can go and disable that synchronized scrolling, and then you can you do screen. Then it won't work here. It won't work here. So okay, so sometimes you may come here and say you want to activate it. Now it will work. And similarly, you can come to view Windows, and then you can say synchronize this. Then only this document will be seen. So don't get scared or create fear within yourself when you don't see document side by side after having these two documents in one single window. Okay, because the reason is, as I mentioned before, if you open two documents from the Windows Explorer, it probably may not show you that way. But if you open the Microsoft Word document and go and open two other documents from within, you will be able to see view and you can do scrolling accordingly. You can do synchronized scrolling. Okay, synchronized scrolling means the two documents are synchronized. So two documents are synchronized, so you can work on that particular document. So friends, so this is what I want to talk to you today. So yeah, yesterday I spoke about Includetext, and today I completed Quickparts, a document property, building blocks, view side by side, Includetext. So it's better you work in more productively and more efficiently, so that you can save a lot of time and reuse the content that you've already created. Never always come into a conclusion that none of the applications are any way superior to their performances or functional features. Maybe because they may not be necessary for that particular vendor to implement that functionality, because it respects a larger people who are going to use the software. So Oxygen XML is not going to be used on the roadside, or Matcaflyer is not going to be used on the roadside shop in the Xerox company and the Xerox shop. He may be using Microsoft Office and Word for his purpose, and he doesn't want to have proficiency in that particular application. So he doesn't need a lot of things, and those things need not have to be implemented it. Otherwise, you'll have various iterations of product, of the same product coming out in the market. Okay, so thank you so much. My name is Chala Prabhu again. I'll be posting this on the LinkedIn profile under the activity section. You can just go and watch that anytime you want. Okay, thank you so much once again.